Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Wispin here, and welcome back to another video. Today, I am actually announcing the beginning of the Winter Texture Contest here on the Pokecentral network. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the Texture Contest here on the network, basically the way it works is players can make their own custom textures for Pokemon. We will select the best textures out of all of the submissions, and those players will actually see their Pokemon in-game on the server, and everybody else will be able to obtain them through winter-themed eggs. Now, in this video, I am going to go ahead and talk a little bit about how you can enter, what are the rewards, as well as the rules for the contest, and exactly how you can create your own texture. So if you are interested in any of that, you can go ahead and continue watching the video. Now, if you have already entered a texture contest in the past, for example, the Halloween texture contest, it is going to be pretty much exactly like that. So if you've already done that, then you don't really need to watch this video. You can submit your textures over on the Discord contest submissions text channel. I still recommend clicking the pinned message over in that channel and taking a look at all of the rules just for a refresher, but you can skip the rest of this video because it's really just going to be going into more detail, and if you've already entered contests in the past, you already know what's happening. So first things first, how do you enter? Now, there's going to be a link down in the description to a video that actually teaches you how to make your own custom Pixelmon textures, and that is how you are actually going to make your textures as well as take screenshots of them in order to submit them for the contest. Now, you don't actually have to submit the texture files themselves. You just have to load up your personal custom textures in your own game in a single-player world, take a screenshot of those Pokemon, and submit those over in the contest texture submission over on our Discord server. So if you follow that video, it is pretty straightforward, and it's really actually easy to do. If you have any questions, you can ask over in our Discord for support. But once you've actually gone ahead and made your own texture, keep it in mind that it does have to be winter themed. And what does that actually mean? It needs to either be, winter, cold, snow, things like that. It can also be holiday related. So if you want to make a really cool Christmas themed skin or some other holiday, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you want, anything at all that somehow kind of pulls in a winter theme can be submitted. Now, I'm not making any promises that all textures are going to be accepted, and I'm going to go a little bit into the actual official contest rules, but also some suggestions that I have for you if you are actually interested in winning the contest and getting your Pokemon in game. So there are a few different rules. Number one is actually that you can submit unlimited textures. So not really a rule, it's just there so that everybody knows you can submit as many as you want. I do recommend quality over quantity, because if you submit 100 textures and they're all really rushed and not the greatest, then you might end up getting none selected. But if you make one really good texture, you have a much higher chance at getting it in game. So that is the first rule. Number two is if you are going to make a texture for a Pokemon that has multiple evolutions, you have to make every single one of those Pokemon have a similar themed texture. For example, if you want to make a snowflake texture for a Pikachu, then you actually have to do Pichu, Pikachu, and Raichu all with this similar themed texture, because players will be getting the lowest evolution form and they'll need to be able to evolve into those higher forms. And if we don't have those textures, then you're going to be evolving into a regular looking Pikachu, and that would be a little bit weird. So keep that in mind. You do need every single Pokemon in the evolution line in your contest submission. And that entire evolution line all combined together counts as a single submission, not multiple submissions, not one for each Pokemon, but just a single submission for the entire evolution line. And so leading on to the next rule, the entire evolution line must be taken in a single screenshot. I'm going to show you some screenshots up on screen right now for how you can actually do this. Please try your best to make sure that the Pokemon are very clear, very visible. We can see all of the detail, all of the lines, all of the work that you put in. Make sure it's like daytime, and make sure it's just really easy to see those Pokemon, because if we can't really make them out very well and we can't see the detail in the screenshot, then we're not going to be able to accept the submission. And the final rule, probably the most important rule overall, all entries must be your own creation. Do not submit textures that other people have made. Do not steal textures from other servers. Do not do anything like that, because if you end up getting caught, not only will you most likely be completely banned from all future contests, you also might have all of your Pokemon wiped in-game. I don't know how severe. It just really depends on if you actually purposely are stealing other people's textures and submitting them. We don't really want to accept that, because it's just bad practice and it's not nice to the people that actually made those textures. Okay, so now that the rules are kind of out of the way, let's get into the suggestions that I have for you. Now, if you are going to make a legendary texture, which is what most people end up wanting to do, I do highly recommend that you make it extremely detailed. Do not just change the colors. You need to make it look absolutely amazing or it will not be accepted. Other Pokemon, non-legendaries, have a little bit less barrier for entry, I guess you could say, because they're non-legendary. They don't have to be quite as detailed and quite as good. Now, that is not saying that a Pokemon that is not a legendary shouldn't look really cool and really clean. I'm just saying that you have a better chance of winning if you choose non-legendary Pokemon. For example, if there is 1,000 textures submitted, we've had only like 400 or 500 in the past, but we'll say 1,000 textures submitted and 500 of those are legendaries and 500 of those are non-legendaries. We're probably only going to select 2 or 3 legendaries and probably 20 to 50 of the regular Pokemon. So you have a much higher percentage chance of winning if you go for those regular Pokemon. I recommend choosing a Pokemon that you think is really cool and also choosing a Pokemon that you think could fit really well with a wintered style texture. Now, if your texture does end up getting selected, and we've done in the past around 30 to 40 textures that actually get chosen as winners, every single one of those people that submitted those textures will receive their Pokemon in-game with 100% IVs, their custom texture, as well as the nature, ability, and growth of their choice, and you will be tagged in a post so that you know that you actually won at the time that we announce the winners, and then you can send me that information for exactly what you want, which server you play on, things like that, and you'll receive your Pokemon in-game. So that is the #1 way that we give back to the people that take part in these contests. You get that really awesome Pokemon. But on top of that, one lucky winner, which is going to be selected personally by me, the absolute best texture, in my opinion, the one that has the most detail, most work put into, the cleanest looking, coolest, most creative texture, will actually win either $100 store credit or $50 sent straight to their PayPal account. It's their choice. You choose one or the other. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to go over quickly how you actually enter the contest, how you actually submit your entry. So let's just go ahead and pull out our chisel, which is how I recommend doing it if you're in a single player world. And you go ahead, just pull it out. And if you follow that tutorial down in the description, this will work super easy because any Pokemon that you spawn in will automatically have your custom texture already loaded up. And then all you have to do is put out the 3 different Pokemon or the 4 different Pokemon, or if you're choosing a Pokemon that only has 1 Pokemon in the evolution line, just the 1 Pokemon. But however many you choose, you need to make sure that they all fit into the same screenshot. So let's go with, I guess, Noibat, because we have a Noibat texture here on the server, and I'll just use that as an example. Why? That was weird. Okay, let's try this again. Noibat, and then we go ahead and we get the Noivern right next to it so that we can go ahead and get them both into the picture. And you can make them however you want. You can make them larger, smaller. You can change the frame so they look a little bit better. And then you take a screenshot of those Pokemon. I'd recommend not having other Pokemon in the background if possible. I'm right at spawn on the server, so it's kind of difficult. But we got the Pokemon here. So there you go. You take a screenshot. I personally use F2, but you can use whatever screen capture method you want, and then you go into your Minecraft folder, your screenshots folder, and you get that picture, and then you most likely will just drag it straight over to Discord. So let me go ahead and show you that really quick. Okay, so you can see we have our screenshot right here. All we have to do is go ahead and drag it over into the contest submissions text channel on the Discord. Again, make sure you read the pinned message in this channel so that you can get a little bit of a refresher on all of the rules and things you need to do. Now, when you drag this in here, that is perfect. In this add comment area, you need to type your in-game name, which I would put Wispin, and then texture, and then you can either leave this blank. You don't necessarily need to add this section, but I would recommend it, and then name the texture. So we just had a Noivern, so it's just basic Noivern, but if you wanted to, you could name it Snowflake. If you made a snowflake-like texture, you could name it Frosty the Snowman. Whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the texture name that we're going to go with in the end, but it does help me to get an idea on what exactly you were going for. So it's really straightforward. You just click upload, and then that is your submission. Now make sure you are only submitting 1 image per submission entry. And that is because otherwise it gets a little bit too spammy. So if you need to resubmit for any reason, make sure you delete your old post and then resubmit. But really, that is pretty much it. That is just about everything that you need to do in order to enter the contest. Pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, you can ask them down in the comment section below or over on our Discord channel, where we have a ton of members available to help you at any point in time. And of course, if you need help actually figuring out how to make your own custom textures, click the link down in the description or go ahead and ask over in the Discord. But I definitely recommend watching that video first. So yeah, good luck to everyone that takes the time to enter. I can't wait to see all of your amazing submissions. In the past, we've had some really cool stuff that I did not expect, but you guys are really great artists, and it does always end up being awesome to see all of your artwork. So thank you guys for participating in this contest, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.